Welcome back to Big Country Politics on KTAB.
Well, hello and welcome to this week's Sunday Conversation right here on Big Country Politics. I'm Manny Diaz. This week our special guest is District 19 U.S. House Representative Jodey Arrington. Mr. Representative, it's been way too long.
It's great to be with you as always, Manny, and God bless the big country and go West Texas.
Yes, sir. Well, on Tuesday, and this feels like somewhat of a bittersweet conversation. On Tuesday, you announced that you would not be seeking re-election for your seat in the House of Representatives, representing us in Washington, D.C. You've said, in other words, on some other outlets that public office is a temporary stint in stewardship, not necessarily a career. Tell me, what prompted you at this moment to follow that principle and announce that you will not run again?
Well, I call it the Mount Vernon principle. You know, the father of our great country could have stayed in office probably as long as he wanted to, but he didn't believe in kings or career politicians, so he went back home to Mount Vernon to live under the laws he passed. That is exactly how I envisioned public office, and at every level, quite frankly, I think it's healthy for new blood, for new people with new ideas to step in the arena. And I think after 10 years of serving West Texas and our nation, I am proud of the work we've done together, and it has been a team effort. And I'm honored that I've had this privilege to wear that West Texas jersey on the playing field to do good things and big things for this region. But it's time to pass that torch. And I have a peace in my heart about it after a lot of prayer. I'm looking forward to my next leadership challenges. And I'm also looking forward to coming alongside my wife and raising up, future leaders and warriors, because there'll always be a fight to preserve this great democracy, this great republic. So that I know is going to be part of whatever my future calling is, but I am grateful to my core and eternally so for West Texas and the people of this region having the confidence and trust in me to be their voice in the nation's capital for a decade now.
As chair of the House Budget Committee, you've been one of the leading voices on fiscal discipline. I think that's something that everybody can agree on there. What unfinished business or debt work do you want to complete before your term ends?
Well, I'm awfully proud of the battle for restoring fiscal sanity in our nation's capital and leading that charge. I feel like that both sides, Republicans and Democrats, have failed to steward the future of America and our children's future by spending us into a potential debt crisis and bankrupting the greatest nation in human history. I think it's the biggest threat to our economy, our national security, and America's leadership in the world. So, I don't think it's any one piece of legislation. We passed a balanced budget twice. That hasn't happened in years. We started providing oversight to the Congressional Budget Office. That hasn't happened in a decade. We passed over 10 pieces of budget process reform legislation because the process is completely broken, as we've seen with this recent shutdown. I'm very proud because that hasn't happened before. We negotiated a debt ceiling that saved $2 trillion, according to the Congressional Budget Office, over 10 years. And then ultimately, we had the big, beautiful bill. And I led the charge and authored the bill in the House. And we were able to cut twice as much in wasteful spending than any other time in American history. And that's $1.5 trillion. So, but it's not any one provision, Manny. It's creating or restoring, rather, a culture that actually cares about stewarding tax dollars, that actually has a sense of urgency about this looming debt crisis.
Do you believe that change in leadership policy in Congress, fewer career politicians, more turnover, perhaps is beneficial or harmful overall, and why?
No, I passed, or not, I didn't pass. I drafted and recruited Democrats to what was the first bipartisan term limit legislation my freshman term. Then I went to meet with the president and had my Republican and Democrat colleagues with me, and he supported that bipartisan term limit legislation as part of his Drain the Swamp initiative. We're not there yet. Maybe it's going to come from the states in a sort of convention of states, Article 5. It may not come top down, but bottom up. But I'm beating that drum because I believe that it's healthy for our republic. And it was the model of leadership from our founders from the beginning, which is that citizen legislator mentality, that we do our job, we work hard and serve well, we keep the American people's interest at the fore, and then we ride off into the sunset and we pass the torch to the next citizen legislator. I think that is the way it ought to work. I think it avoids distractions. I think it avoids that scenario where you have Congress people feathering their nest instead of fighting for their constituents, and thinking about their interest or their career or what they'll do in Washington when they leave, instead of, again, following through on their commitments and serving their constituents and our country. So nobody's forcing me out. My wife supports me if I wanted to do it again. President Trump endorsed me. I feel like I've got a lot of support out here, but it's just time. I feel it in my heart. I've prayed about it. I have peace, but it's also that peace comes from being consistent with the principle of not making public office a career, but rather a short stint in stewardship. And if you say that's important and you say you believe that, then you got to live up to it, because words just don't matter in Washington. They don't matter to the American people. What matters is what you do. And I think this is not just consistent with what I've said. I think it's consistent with what my fellow West Texans believe about public office.
Yeah. All right, we're going to step aside for a quick commercial break. When we come back, more with District 19 U.S. House Representative Jodey Arrington as we discuss the future of this seat. That and more when we come back.
Welcome back to Big Country Politics on KTAB.
Jodey, you announced your, I guess, resignation, if you will, pinned your resignation letter to the people of District 19, indicating that you would not be seeking re-election for another term. Your decision opens a wide open Republican primary in Texas' 19th District. Tell me, what qualities will you look for in your successor? Will you endorse someone?
Well, I think the people of West Texas and the big country area of West Texas will make a good decision. We have a boatload of common sense and good judgment out here. People can smell a phony a mile away in West Texas. They know if somebody is authentic, if they're true to their word. Integrity is the foundation for leadership. Somebody that's ready to jump in the arena and do battle for West Texas values. It's not easy, and it is a fight. And so we need somebody that's got that grit, that has the will to fight and stay in the fight and not be weary from the fight, but also somebody that's got the West Texas value of loving thy neighbor and having mutual respect for their fellow American, regardless of their party affiliation. So you can fight the wrong way and you can fight the right way. I think West Texans should expect somebody that's going to fight and stand boldly on our principles and advance with no apology the values that we believe are bedrock for the success of our country, but always doing it with love and grace for all Americans, and not joining the animus and joining in on the personal attacks that are so prevalent in Washington. It's fruitless, it's unproductive, and it doesn't represent the best of our great nation. And it's a bad example for our children. So I hope my tone, I hope the way I have related to my colleagues and the way I've treated every American and every constituent, whether they were Republican or Democrat, was always one of love and respect.
When this does become a race, will you offer your support to someone?
I'm going to defer to the people of West Texas to pick who they believe would be best in representing their families and our values and interest in West Texas. Like I said, I trust their judgment. I don't think my 2 cents is going to be worth that much. I'm just one of them. I have my views. I have my opinions. I will certainly express what I think are the characteristics of a leader who will be successful. But my role is going to be one of becoming a citizen of our region, and I'll be actively engaged in the community and service. But I'm not going to be anointing the next person to succeed me. I will say, whoever it is, I will be in their corner. I will give them whatever advice, counsel they solicit. And I will be praying for them and encouraging them and give them the benefit of my successes and failures and things I learned from those along the way, because I want them to be successful. They have to be successful. And that's certainly what I will offer up to whoever wins and becomes our next fearless leader.
You've said you're looking for new leadership challenge, more time with your family. Answer this how you will, how you may. What type of roles are you considering? Public service outside of elected office, private sector. What's next for Jodey Arrington?
Manny, I really have not given a lot of thought to what I'm going to do after my stint in Congress. I have one more year on my term, and I'm going to run through the tape. I'm going to stay laser focused on helping our president implement the America First agenda. I'm going to fight for fair trade deals. I'm going to continue to work alongside of him to rein in the spending that's bankrupting the country and make sure we give our warriors in the armed services all that they need to do well. Make sure that B-21 Raider is on track to be flying out of Dyess in the big country. So there's a lot of things for me to focus on, including working with Speaker Johnson, who is one of my best and dearest friends, and my colleagues in the House to grow the majority in the House, to give the president and the American people and the mandate they gave the president a stronger hand to do the things that I think the president has been doing a great job at: restoring law and order, restoring peace through strength, and putting in place the pro-growth policies that will get us back to growth and jobs and bringing down the cost of living. So that's my focus: fighting and delivering for West Texas, for our farmers, for our ranchers, for our God-fearing, hardworking small business people, and just my citizens back home.
Last question for you, Jodey. At the end of it all, how do you want your constituents of West Texas and the country to remember your service?
He fought hard for our freedom and for our values and for our way of life in America. And he was relentless in that fight. He was also unabashed in standing on the values that characterize the people of West Texas, and quite frankly, that are the foundation for America's exceptionalism. That he worked with every fiber of his being, that he never let up, that he always had our best interest in mind, and that he never veered from his objective to have a stronger, safer, more prosperous West Texas for the next generation of West Texans and Americans. And as a result of all that, things are better. The future is brighter, and not just for our kids, but for generations of Americans to come. If that's my legacy, I'd be very proud of that. And if it is my legacy, then I would say all the glory to God and all the thanks to the many people in West Texas who encouraged me and supported me, and most importantly, prayed for me and my family. And so that was the recipe for success. And I hope the next person that takes on this mantle hears that. The recipe for success is to work together with your fellow West Texans, to fight hard and to trust God and have people praying that by God's grace and by your faith, you can move mountains and nothing's impossible. And that's certainly been my experience now for a decade.
Mm-hmm. Well, Representative Jodey Arrington, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, Manny. God bless and go West Texas.
For District 19 U.S. House Representative Jodey Arrington, I'm Manny Diaz. This has been another Sunday Conversation right here on Big Country Politics. We'll see you next time. God bless.